Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with some more Esoterica. Today we are going to be diving back into the work of Charles Haanel. This is the Master Key System. We are reading aloud and discussing as we go along the various points that are brought to light by the text. It's not the format for everybody, but some people seem to find enjoyment in it, so you are more than welcome to tag along as we continue our exploration. Before we begin, however, if you are unfamiliar with me, any of my unconventional beliefs, or if at any point in time I lose you in the terminology, there will be several playlists linked in the corner above, the box below, along with the original source material so that you can get a better understanding of why I say the things that I do. With that being said, we are going to dive in and continue our exploration of the Master Key System with the Master Key Psychological Chart. It is a psychological fact that 90% of our mental power is never or seldom used. Therefore, most men have the power to achieve 10 times as much as they ever accomplish. That's an extrapolation, right? You're already not doing math. This chart will tell you exactly where you stand, what you are accomplishing, and what you can accomplish if you make the necessary effort. Copy the following table and fill it in as instructed below. Mental product, health, time efficiency, creative power, concentration. Take the total, divide by 5, and that gives you the average. The first test is your mental product. What is it worth? Are you getting full value for it? What you get for your mental product depends entirely upon your ability to sell it to the best advantage. The chances are that many men with no more ability than yourself are being paid 10, 20, or 50 times more than you are for a product no better than yours. If so, there is a reason, and this chart will explain it. Estimate the value of what you have to sell, your knowledge, your experience, your loyalty, your energy, and if you are marketing it at full rate value, give yourself 100%. If you are only getting one half of what it's worth, give yourself 50%. But be fair. Do not underestimate the value of what you have to offer. Remember that loss leads to greater loss, and most loss comes from self-depreciation. Cause and effect do not operate somewhere, sometimes, but everywhere, always. This is an invariable law, so that whatever we receive, good or bad, is the result of a definite cause and reaches us either as a penalty or a reward. And remember this, your ability to sell your mental product as the rate of 5% annually on $100,000 does not depend upon ability or knowledge either. You may be selling your product for $400 a year, and it may be more valuable than that of many who are being paid at a rate of $5,000 a year. The reason is plain. Knowledge does not apply itself. If you are allowing it to remain in static form, you must convert it into dynamic form by applying creative power and concentration. The lack of concentrated, intelligent, charted effort may be costing you $4,000 a year. Next, take health. If you eat well, sleep well, take a reasonable amount of recreation, and can attend to your business, profession, or household duties without any consideration for or thought of the state of your health, give yourself 100%. But if your body needs constant attention, if you have to be continually worried about what to eat or what not to eat, if you cannot sleep, or if you have any aches or pains of any description, deduct from the 100%. If you think your health is 90% of what it should be, give yourself 90%. Or if you are only 50% efficient, put it down. Be absolutely fair. Remember that your physical body is maintained through a process of continuous destruction and reconstruction. Life is simply an exchange of the old for the new, and health is the only equilibrium which nature maintains during the process of creating new tissue and eliminating the old or waste tissue. Birth and death are constantly taking place in our body. New cells are constantly being formed in the process of converting food, water, and air into living tissue. Every action of the brain, every movement of a muscle means the destruction and consequent death of some of those cells, and the accumulation of these dead, unused, and waste cells is what causes pain, suffering, and disease. The symptoms depend on what organs are being taxed in their effort to eliminate the waste matter. An understanding of these laws and a consequent knowledge as to how to preserve an equilibrium between the new cells which are being created and the old cells which are being eliminated is the secret of perfect health. Next in importance comes time efficiency. Because time is all that we have and what we accomplish depends entirely upon what use we make of our time. If you work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, and use 8 hours for recreation, study, and self-improvement, and all the time is fully utilized, give yourself 100%. But if any part of the 8 hours, which should be sold at a profit, is spent in idleness or gossip or any form of mental dissipation, if any part of this time is wasted, or worse than wasted, by allowing your thought to rest on critical, discordant, or inharmonious subjects of any kind, cut down your percentage accordingly. If you fall asleep the minute your head touches the pillow, all right. But if you spend from 15 minutes to an hour trying to get to sleep, cut your percentage down again. If your sleep is disturbed by dreams or fear or worry of any kind, cut your percentage down again. This seems to be automatically designed to be a little bit low, right? If you jump up early and feel refreshed and vigorous, if you bathe and make your toilet without the loss of any unnecessary time, well and good. But if you idle or dream or fritter away from 15 minutes to a half hour needlessly, cut your percentage down again. If you spend the rest of your time in good, healthy recreation, which benefits you, both physically and mentally, well and good. But if you are acquiring capital which will have a cash value. But if you let the time get away from you with nothing to show for it, you are not better physically, mentally, or morally. If the time has gone and left nothing of value, then it has been lost, for it may leave something detrimental, something which will prove a handicap in your race for success. Here again you must be fair with yourself and give yourself exactly the percentage to which you are entitled. Next comes your creative power. If most persons whom you meet do what you want them to do, if they feel towards you as you wish them to feel, if they think what you want them to think, give yourself 100%, because everything we get must come from others. But there is no other channel by which success can reach us. This creative power must be unconsciously exercised. It must be your personality. If, however, you have to make a tremendous effort when you wish to accomplish something, if you have to exert willpower, if you must fret or worry and stew over the result of an important interview, cut your percentage down to 50% or 40% or even less, because you do not understand the principle involved. When you understand, there will be no cause for anxiety. You will know because, in the first place, you will never want or expect anyone to do anything except what is the best for them. You will understand that every transaction must benefit both parties. When you understand these laws, when the principles become a vital part of your life, when they are involved in your mental attitude, you will have found the master key and all doors will be open to you, because you will understand that every event, every condition, everything was first an idea. And that just to the extent that you grew quiet and focused your attention on that idea, stilling all the activities of your mind and eliminating all other thoughts from your consciousness, will the various phases and possibilities of the idea develop. And just in accordance with the definiteness with which you picture that idea and the extent with which the idea takes possession of you, will the creative power do its work. And the creative power will eventually take control and direct every activity of both mind and body, and will begin to shape every condition related to the idea, so that sooner or later the idea will come forth in a definite, tangible form. If you understand this thoroughly and have demonstrated it time and time again, so that you can mold and shape and determine conditions, I say again, give yourself 100%. Next comes concentration. Can you concentrate? Do you know what it means to concentrate? Can you direct the thought to any problem which may arise for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, to the absolute exclusion of everything else? Can you unravel, disintegrate, take the problem apart, see every phase of it, see the cause which brought it about, see the solution, see it definitely, conclusively, and finally, and know that your solution is correct? Can you then dismiss the matter and turn your attention to something else without ever recurring the matter again? If you can do this, give yourself 100%. If, however, you are haunted by fears, troubles, anxieties, if, when you have no problem to solve, you make one for yourself by drawing on your imagination, if you are afraid of what this one says or the other one thinks, or someone else does, then cut down your percentage. Because if you knew how to concentrate, you would not be afraid of anyone or anything. You would be in possession of a power which would make every other known power sink into insignificance. Be careful to give yourself exactly the percentage to which you feel you are entitled. Now, strike an average. See where you stand. If you are a little above the average, your chart will be something like this. Mental product 50%, health 80%, time efficiency 80%, creative power 50%, concentration 10%. Total 270%. Divide by 5, the average will be 54%. Assuming that you are earning $1,000 a year and that you feel that your mental product should be worth $2,000 a year, which is the basis for your calculation, then any method which would assist you to increase your earning power to $2,000 a year would be worth $1,000 a year to you. Again, any method which would bring you health, efficiency in your time, efficiency in your creative power, or increase your ability to concentrate would be worth at least $1,000 a year. Many have found that the Master Key teaching does all of this and much more. All right, we're going to pause for a second when we do the advice. That's a separate section that they added into the same part. But this is an interesting thing, right? This is trying to quantitate the mental capacity, which is a little bit wild. This is disregarding a very fundamental fact. The fundamental fact is that people think in different ways. There are people who focus on numbers, and there are people who focus on ideas. There are people who are separate in how they deal with things. This all can be simplified. All right, I don't think he was going for simplification, but this could be simplified by something that started me, right? We've talked about this before, but my journey was really started, like the current one, by Jordan Peterson. And it was by a question that he asked. I was watching one of his lectures, which I did. I don't really watch him as much anymore, but I used to watch him quite frequently. And one of the questions that he asked was, are you living to your fullest extent? Are you investing 100% in yourself? Are you doing everything that you know that you need to do in order to get where you want to be? And I wasn't. And so I started looking into how to do that. This is attempting to quantify that in a way that doesn't necessarily have to be quantified. It brings you some points where you can focus. You can work on increasing these various things. We'll pull them back up, right? You can invest yourself specifically in these 5 things. Now, whether or not everything breaks down into these 5 things, I highly doubt that, but it's a fairly good estimation. Right? Are you investing in your mental product? Are you investing in your health? Are you checking yourself on time efficiency? Are you using your creative power? Do you take the time to concentrate? These are things that you can use to quantify how to improve yourself, but it's not necessarily going to work out exactly like this math. And I want to make that the important part here. The most important part to take out of this little introductory part right here is that you're probably not doing everything that you can. You think you are, most likely, but you're probably not. You're probably spending time idle at work, and that decreases your valuability to your work. Now, if you're self-employed, that is probably not true. You're probably overextending, and you're working into your health and your creative power a little bit. If you're coming home after your work and then all you do is sit on the couch, again, you're not investing in yourself. If you're not exercising regularly, you're not investing in yourself. If you're eating the wrong things that you know are the wrong things, then you're not investing in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. You need to take the time to develop yourself. And this gives you a framework by which to work. And I am all about some frameworks, right? I have a whole set of tools for you to get the framework by which you can help yourself. I believe that a major part of that is going to be what your MBTI type is. And I know I use my system for that. It is not the same as any other MBTI system that you have seen. I have changed the terms. I have restructured the way in which it works. I have changed the way by which typing happens. So if you have been typed before, it is probably wrong according to my system. And my system almost certainly will be a little bit closer to the way that you actually think. So you should fall back and check out the Infinite Integrations playlist and figure out what type you are. Because if you are a numbers guy, which is probably going to be an SI dominant, then this may work for you. But if you are an ideas person, it's probably not. You're not worried about these numbers. You're worried about the overall ideas. Now, you can take these different categories, right? Mental health, or mental product, health, time efficiency, creative power, and concentration, but you're not worried about the percentages. You're worried about the overall behind it, right? Am I using my mental product to the best that I can? Am I investing in my health to the best that I can? And these numbers aren't going to matter to you. Now, if you are one of the sensories, one of the people who really like to know the things, then that's probably going to help you. And so it is important to remember that different people think in different ways. You have to find your motivator, and it's probably not going to be the numbers for at least half of the country, the country of the world, or even a quarter, right? Because SI and SE really look at things differently. SI is kind of worried about these numbers, where SE is really not going to be worried about the numbers. They're going to be worried about the overall gains. Find out where you sit in your MBTI and get your stack correct, and then you can start working on this in a very, very real way. I say that too much. That's why I roll my eyes. Invest in yourself, though. Sit down, ask yourself the question, am I doing all that I can do to make me who I want to be? And if so, then fine. But if not, then this can give you some structure on how to fix that. The MBTI system can do the same thing. I just wanted to point out, right, the overarching here is, am I doing all that I can? This is a way to quantify that. I'm probably not going to do this, right? It's not that important. I do the overall idea. Am I investing myself into myself? I spend most of my day, every day, working on something. Every once in a while, I will play video games for a couple of hours, but that is the recreation part. I am still, when I am doing that, thinking about other things, right? I play video games that keep me idle in my mind these days. I don't really do games that I have to think a lot about. It's just wander around. I play Fallout more than anything these days, and it's just wander around shooting things and thinking. I'm doing that because I'm building a video game. Y'all can't see it, but I've got it on my wall over here. And I look at the graphics. I look at how it works, right? I'm looking at the mechanics of the game while I'm in the game so that I can help myself make my own game better. But I do spend the time to see that I am doing the things that I want to do. I exercise regularly. I eat well. I spend time on my health. I do my recreation. I have to force myself to do the recreation. That's the part that's hard for me. The concentration is not a problem. And so everybody's a little bit different. This is a way to quantify it. All right, now let's look at this advice. Remember, fully to understand grand and beautiful thought requires, perhaps, as much time as to conceive it. Joubert. If you wish to enjoy the utmost practical benefit from the master key, go slowly. This is something that I am not going to do, right? This is recommended that you take this in a 1-week segment. I say the same thing for my MBTI system, right? Once you have discovered what MBTI you are, I tell you to spend a week in each one of the segments. Makes it at least an 8-week process, but you get the experience in each one individually and learn to strengthen it within yourself. Take the time to go slowly. Now, what we do here is necessarily not going to be that way. There are 24 modules. I am not spending 24 weeks and separating it. I'm going to do it all, probably 2 a day, maybe more, depending on how the timing works out. Like this one, this is going to be a really short video. The next one might be an hour. It might be 2. Depends on how it reads. I try to keep them in separate sections, but if it's 30 minutes for each section, then I'm going to do 2 sections at a time. So I will be going a little bit faster. You should probably take the time to invest in each section individually. Now, I'm going to assimilate this information. I'm going to use it in my own way. You do the same thing. I don't know whether that will take 24 weeks or not, but I'm a big one for take the time that it's needed, right? So I will read these and we'll go through all of them. But like I am still kicking around things from 4 segments ago. I'm still working those, assimilating those, and using that information to improve my own life. Take all the time that you need, even if I am going a little bit faster than is recommended. Transfuse into your mind the content of one part only each week for 24 weeks. And again, I am not going to be doing that. I'm going to try, right, if it is anywhere around an hour each for each segment, I'm going to try and keep each segment into each one, right? So segment 1 will be its own video, segment 2 its own video. But I like to keep them around an hour so it's consistent and it works my algorithm a little better. Realize the meaning of every phrase. Consult the Master Key constantly as your perpetual help and stimulus. Each time you read the work, you will get a better understanding of the eternal cosmic principles. Tell others of the Master Key so that more and more people may reciprocate with you as conscious adepts in harmony. Note from the publisher. And that is going to end this segment. This is a lot shorter than I would normally like. I like to keep them around an hour, but sometimes the text just doesn't work that way. I didn't have a whole lot to add to this, so I'm not even going to worry about. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment, right? This was just a read-through. I don't even really expect a whole lot of people to watch this particular little segment. The next parts will probably get more attention, but we do it all in completion regardless. We read through as much as is relevant, and this is relevant. So hopefully you got a little bit of value out of this. Again, I didn't have a whole lot to add. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, share, and a sub. Throw me a comment. Let me know you appreciate what I'm doing. If you agree or disagree, as long as it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. And if you really like what I'm doing, hit me with that super thanks. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pit State. Peace.